Montana. What a lovely place. It holds on to an older way of living in certain areas, still carrying on from a time when it was a new lifestyle for many. From hunting and fishing to log cabins, ranches, farms, and homesteads to the development of mountain roads, mining, railways, bridges, and highways eventually led to cities. My aunt lived in Gardner, on the southern border of Montana, just outside the northwest corner of Wyoming. On one visit during my boyhood, it had snowed a couple days prior. I was surprised, feeling silly for assuming it didn't snow there because I usually visited in the spring or summer. There was only an inch or two, but it was enough to create a magical sight. She stayed in an old log cabin nestled in the hillside of a mountain enveloping this small town. It was serene up there. We arrived late at night, so we settled in, making ourselves comfortable and exploring the cabin. I was there with my brother, 2 cousins, and my 2 aunts. As a 4th grader, I was an incredibly curious boy. Unraveling the mysteries of a new place was like an adventure that drove me to discover its truths. We called it a night as the midnight hour approached. It was a strange new place. At times, in a half-waking stupor, I noticed mounted animal heads on the wall and momentarily panic. Drifting back to sleep, I'd encounter strange dreams, each more bizarre and ominous than the last. Eventually, the sound of birds chirping signaled the imminent sunrise. I gave up trying to sleep and I fixed myself some toasted Pop-Tarts and a glass of orange juice while everybody else slumbered. I ventured outside to further explore the property. Now that visibility had improved with the melting snow, circling around to the back, I inspected the yard, enclosed by its barbed wire fence. At the front, across the road, an awe-inspiring view down the mountain overlooking Gardner awaited. The ground was littered with massive boulders, some as large as 5 feet in every dimension. I clambered onto one of them and began hopping from boulder to boulder. After a few minutes, I started sweating and decided to tie my coat around my waist. Continuing on, my coat gradually loosened and eventually slipped off, falling between a few rocks. Retrieving it, I paused to relish the view once more before heading back to the cabin. And as I turned to step onto the next rock, I suddenly found myself falling face first. I attempted to brace myself with my hands, but it was to little effect. In a haze of confusion, I brought my hands to my face, cushioning most of the impact. The pain hadn't struck yet. Thankfully, there was no blood. I cautiously inspected the inside of my mouth with my tongue, only to be filled with absolute terror as I encountered something sharp at the front. I exclaimed, "I broke half of my darn tooth."